Judges, with the present situation that we're all in, startups, investors, and workers alike, it compromises us all to shudder to a halt. Judges, my name is Rayden, and what I bring to you today will strive for this world to keep going, with a project of mine called Filtro, an organization that provides hand-painted masks for hope. This presentation will be able to cover our story, what makes us different, the future that Filtro plans to build into, and how we'll do it. In a misplaced world that was caused by the pandemic, Filtro acts as a relief business that aims to ease the stress of this pandemic, one mask at a time. We're able to execute ample plans in regards to innovation by producing and selling artisanal masks, creating sanitary donations to empower those around us, and collaborate with other student-led initiatives such as us. Now, our mission runs much deeper than it seems. So far, 1 million people have been found COVID positive across Indonesia, with numbers on a steady rise. I've seen with my very own eyes how severe Indonesia and the world has suffered, and what Filtro does can be fueled by our immense want for change. This notion has driven us to amass towards heights we've never experienced before. Since our launch, Filtro has sold over 700 units, as shown here, gained 61 million Indonesian rupiah in revenue, more than 60 mass designs, and exactly 1,729 sanitary items donated. Now, what makes it stand out? On the surface, Filtro is no different in the realm of face masks, and our underlying differences will prove to be the main benefactors of our success. We are able to sell greater products as compared to our competition due to two main reasons. We have established ourselves as one of the most prominent mass businesses in the Indonesian community while supporting environmentally sustainable businesses for sourcing. This further allows us to offer our masks at a specialized price to be able to uphold a philanthropic nature, something that other competitors miss out on. Now, in regards to our business model, we have adequately compared them towards quality and price. We're able to take advantage of both these factors. Business approaches and products and philanthropic approaches as well are able to stand out with our satisfactory customership and quality while being able to deliver at a favorable price. But of course, judges, none of us would want this pandemic to last longer. Filtro has been a startup built on capitalizing on such a worldwide transition, so one may ponder, what does the future hold for us? Filtro may just look like a mass company, but we want to go higher. I'm sure that a familiar name such as Nike has been paramount discussion amongst investors. They don't necessarily advise their products. They advertise the mindsets and the meanings behind them. They make you feel like a champion. I want Filtro to become a state of mind that changes the world by our very existence. Modern companies show that growth is based on two things: interest and, most importantly, purpose. In order to cater to an economically strong audience, Generation Z, we must deliver with a higher caliber. This is done with a clothing expansion and community building. And of course, future planning of such a magnitude will never confine itself. We plan to expand all throughout Indonesia, starting from the home of Jakarta, and sooner or later, we'll be empowering the entire world as we know it. In the face of execution, we recognize the many challenges that are present, and under operationalization, I will include how, what, and why Filtro will expand. We want to further uplift this community as a whole by educating people on social change and justice and actively seek to fulfill the UNDP Sustainable Development Goals as our mandate. Uh, I hear the timer if I may go on for a bit more, if that's totally okay. We have divided this into our clothing as well as our social community aspects. This will show people that Filtro is not only just a company, but a company that genuinely cares about its community and is socially just. What differs us is the meaning behind our brand. Due to our very progressive, our very open customer base, as well as the precedent of change that is greatly needed, we believe that we will change the world with our very existence. Thank you for listening, judges. Now, I want every element of this business to better the world, and I'd like to cordially invite you all to join this journey to a brighter future. Thank you. I'm open towards any questions and feedback. Yep.
Just want to congratulate you very much on a very thoughtfully presented proposition. And the fact that at your age you have thought about the UNDP Sustainable Development Goals, because as you know, Indonesia is one of the most polluted countries in the world when it comes to rubbish disposal. So rather than asking you some of the more technical questions about revenue models, etc., I want to ask you a little bit more on a sustainable uh, question on the for disposal of these products. You know, and I'm sure because you've done some research, there is a lot of concern about the disposing of masks and what it is doing to the environment. So I just wanted to understand a little bit on how much work you've done on that aspect of your product.
Thank you for asking this question. Now, despite the UNDP being part of our future plans, we have already incorporated the mandate and the inspiration of the UNDP Sustainable Development Goals in every inch of our being. I understand that the question may arise of how environmentally clean our products may be, and as mentioned in how we differ against our competitors, Filtro is able to use not only economically clean, environmentally sourced masks that are also clean towards the community, but are also multiple use. We recognize the main problem and the main shortage in Indonesia's mask industry, since most masks that are being retailed right now, they're easily disposable and are single use most of the time. Hence, Filter would like to bring a more creative twist to this, yet also be able to foster Indonesian health by creating masks that are able to be used multiple times. And with this notion in mind, Filter has thoroughly tested each of our masks, and they have lasted for at least months of use, considering that we have only been up for a few months, and these masks have been tested over hundreds of washes and uses. Hence, with this, we believe that Filtro has already solved some of the SDG problems that have arisen in Indonesia.
Thank you. So you were talking really more about use. I was talking a little bit about disposal. So one of the things that is very important is that masks that are being used should be better biodegradable so they don't impact the environment. They don't get thrown into rivers and the elastics get caught up with fish, things like that. Have you thought a little bit about that?
Thank you for asking the follow up. Yes, we have the cloth and the fabric that each of our masks is sourced from. They are all biodegradable and recyclable as well. We have also tested this out with our very own prototypes and as well as our biodegradable fabric paint that we use.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Mr. Singh, questions, comments?
Yeah, thank you very much for the presentation. I thought you thought things out very clearly, and you were very clear in your presentation. Sustainable fashion is it's a very big problem at this point because of the fashion industry being culprits for being very irresponsible in how they dispose of unused clothing. So it's a very interesting line to get into for your future growth, and it's very much aligned with the SDG. So I do think that you are solving a very interesting problem, especially in this part of the world. What I wanted to hear a bit more about is, from what I understand, you're already producing these masks. So I know that you're aiming to be a social enterprise that's very focused on the social element of business, which is great. How currently do you think of producing these masks? So do you work with local co-ops whereby you have certain types of people that are currently underemployed to produce these masks? What is your plan for production, and how are you currently selling these masks? What channels are you using? Because while masks is a very hot topic at this point, there's also a lot of people that are in that space. So how do you reach your customers, and how do you plan to continue reaching your customers?
Thank you for asking this question. As for our production, each of our sources have been carefully checked to be environmentally clean, sustainable, as well as eco-friendly. And with this production, we have also been able to distribute these masks online. So since we cooperate in Jakarta, and keeping in mind the current state of the pandemic, we usually distribute our products through our Instagram, which I will be including in the chat after this, as well as through a online site called Tokopedia. If those in Singapore are familiar, this is where we can also sell our products. And of course, in the future, as I mentioned before, Filtro will not confine ourselves towards Jakarta. We plan to be much more international to be able to sell to countries such as Singapore, India, Malaysia. And in the near future, if we become much more successful, we plan to import towards countries such as the Americas in the case that in the case that our startup is able to grow much bigger. And in terms of ethical production, in a sense, all of the workers, we have also cross-checked that the treatment has been very adequate, and uh, and the masks they're producing are not out of intent. In the future, we also aim to help this, as well as solve a few of the SDGs at once by killing two birds with one stone, by being able to hire those in need and provide them with a good pay, as well as a good exposure towards the modern market, by allowing us to produce sustainable mass, sustainable clothing. And with their help, we can also eliminate the problems with poverty, and by then also eliminate the lack of adequate resources that people can access. So with this, I'd like to answer that.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rayden. Judges, that's all we have time for at the moment. Rayden, thank you for giving such a wonderful presentation at this point in time. There is one question we'd like to answer from the audience just before you pop off, which is how much are these masks actually going to set someone back?
All right. So in terms of Indonesian rupiah, it would cost about 30,000 towards 150,000. However, in US dollars, this means that our mask can range from 2 to 10 US dollars. And to those who would like to reach out straight after this, I'll be posting the various links that Filtro has towards where you can reach us out. And if possible, maybe support us and get a few products or two. That would be greatly appreciated.